What's up traders, it's Nick here and welcome to another breakdown. As usual, I will be keeping it as educational as possible. So without further ado, let the intro roll and I will see you on the charts. Okay, so let's make a full breakdown of the situation that we currently have on gold. Now, as usual, first, I will be covering the technical aspect of this market. We will then go and see what we have from an order flow perspective. And by using the combination of our technical analysis and our order flow breakdown, we will be able to understand where we can be looking for the highest probabilities trading opportunity on gold. Now, why do we check the commitment of traders? Because this is how the non-commercials in the market, so the biggest speculators in the market, which are hedge funds, so the big players of the market itself, are moving their positions in time. And if you can see how they're shifting their orders, you do have an advantage over your competition in the market. So starting here from the monthly time frame, what do we have? Now here on the monthly, we can see that the market has just provided a quite nice impulse to the upside. Now, generally speaking, after an impulse, if you want to measure the correction, what you have to do is take your Fibonacci from the low to the high of the impulse. And if we take our Fibonacci from the low to the high of this impulse, what we can see is that the market has created a perfect 50% retracement exactly to this area. And not only this is the 50%, but it's also the previous low. In fact, we can see that exactly from this area, the market had started this move to the upside. And currently, we're testing exactly the same support and demand from which the market had created this previous move to the upside, which at the moment is acting again as support and demand. So at the moment here on the monthly, there is definitely the possibility to see more continuation to the upside, and we do have very strong support at this area that we are currently testing. Going down on the weekly time frame, what do we see? Now here on the weekly, we actually see the completely opposite scenario. In fact, here on the weekly, what we can see is that actually at the moment, what we are testing is previous weekly support, which is now term resistance. Now the market here has tested multiple times this important structure area, which is basically previous support, term resistance. In fact, we have created multiple levels of structure here on the weekly. We can see quite clearly that this area was previous support, which the market then broke to the downside, and at that point, previous support was term resistance here. Then again, the market here found support, the market broke the area to the downside, and at that point, previous support again was term resistance here. And again, what we can see here is that we have previous support, which the market again broke to the downside, and at that point, previous support was again term resistance. So here on the weekly time frame, what we actually have is previous weekly support, which is now term resistance, which already brings a problem because we have monthly support, however, weekly resistance, meaning that at the moment, actually what we have is gold, which is bounded in between the monthly support that we have here, as we have already identified on the monthly, and the weekly resistance, which we have here, which is simply this previous weekly support, which is now turned weekly resistance here. So we have a bounded market. Going down on the daily time frame, what do we have? Now here on the daily, we have a quite clear scenario. In fact, if we look at the structure that the market is currently providing here on the daily time frame, we can see that this area is quite strong resistance given by the dynamic resistance that we have, which is basically given by this trend line itself. And we also have support at this area. In fact, we can clearly see that this zone was acting as very strong support from which the market started all this move to the upside, which is currently again support here. Now, I had spoken about gold quite a few times in the past. I spoke about gold when the market was here, and I explained all the reasons for which from here we expected the market to provide this move to the downside. And in fact, that is exactly what the market did. Then we had the creation of this impulse and the market printed this head and shoulders. And when the market was here, I made a full breakdown explaining all the reasons for which from here we expected the market to provide this move to the downside. And again, that is exactly what the market did. Then we had the creation of this W formation, and from here I made a full breakdown explaining all the reasons for which from here we expected the market to provide this move to the downside, and again that is exactly what the market did. Then we had the creation of this W formation, and from here I made another breakdown explaining all the reasons for which from here we expected the market to provide this move to the downside, and again, that is exactly what the market did. Then we had the creation of this overextended W formation, and from here I explained all the reasons for which we wanted to see this market create a move to the downside. Then here I explained why, if on the 4 hours we would have seen bullish price action, we could be looking for a continuation to the upside, but everything remained bearish all the time, so we couldn't even add gold to our watch list with students. Then the market created this move to the downside, and from here I made a full breakdown explaining all the reasons for which we wanted to see this move to the upside, and again the market created a move to the upside and retraced more than the 0.32, which was our upside target. And then I spoke about gold after this M pattern when the market was here, explaining all the reasons for which we wanted to see the move to the upside. And from here, as I had explained in the previous breakdown that I will link below, I explained why we wanted to be looking for the move to the downside, or if here we would have seen bullish price action, then we could expect a deeper correction higher. However, everything remained bearish all the time, so the market just melted to the downside. And by the way, I will link in description all this previous analysis. So you find all this previous analysis linked in description, so you can go and check it out for further reference and more free education. If you have any requests for other breakdowns, make sure that you leave it in the comment below, and also make sure you like and subscribe. Now at the moment, what do we have and how we can be looking for the next potential opportunity on gold? Now here on the daily, as we have already identified, we have a market which at the moment is bounded. In fact, here on the daily, we have this previous support, which is now again support here. However, at the same time, we have this resistance. So basically, we have a market which is bounded in between these two levels. And until the market will remain bounded in between these two levels, there is no great opportunity for gold. Now, if we go and see what we have from a COT perspective, so commitment of traders, which is what hedge funds are currently doing in the market, we can see that with the last report, we have decreased the net positioning from 251K to 234K, with 10.6K short positions added with the last report and 5.7K longs getting closed. Already with the previous report, we had 693 shorts getting opened and 5K longs getting closed. So what we can see here is that on gold, we're getting bearish and more bearish when the time is basically flowing, because clearly hedge funds are continuously decreasing their net positions. And we just went from having 279K net positions to 234K net positions, which is one of the lowest values that we had in the most recent history here for gold. So overall, continuation to the downside is definitely possible. However, as we just said, we are still above this support. So how we will be approaching this potential opportunity with students? Now, really much depends on whether or not the market will break to the upside or to the downside from this structure. For example, if the market here will simply create some support and then break it to the downside, that would be great. If, for example, here the market will provide first a move to the upside and then break this support to the downside, that would be great, because this previous support would be turned resistance here. And after the break on the retest of the previous support on resistance inside of here, we would be obviously monitoring price action with students from a 4-hour perspective. Now, why 4 hours? Because monthly, weekly, and daily combined with the COT data are the best time frames for the direction of the market. However, when it comes to confirmations and entries, the best time frames are the 4-hour and lower. So inside of here, we will be monitoring price action with students from a 4-hour perspective, waiting for the market to provide to us one of our valid entries. And as soon as the market will provide to us one of our valid entries, we will be taking a nice short with a very good risk to reward and very good probabilities at that point for the move to the downside and completion of this impulse correction and impulse pattern to the downside. On the other side, if the market will break this trend line to the upside, we would have a completely different opportunity. So until the market will remain bounded in between this resistance and support with students, we will not be looking for an opportunity. But as soon as the market will break either to the upside or to the downside, we have some very interesting opportunities on gold that definitely is worth following. If you enjoyed the video, make sure that you smash that like button and comment below. It really does support the creation of more free education analysis and updates for all of you. You can also comment below and let me know which pairs you would like me to cover in my next videos. Also, make sure you go and check out the mentorship program. It's a very complete program. The link is in the description. First, you get all the rules of my rule-based strategies, and then you trade the strategies with me. Each and every day, you get a new daily market breakdown showing you how to apply the strategies with the entries, stops, and take profits, as well as having me answering all your questions every single day, including the weekend. So it's a very complete program. I really suggest that you go and check it out. The link is in the description, and I will see you in it.